Welcome to What the Lead into the KMVT test pattern. For a preview of tonight's show, we join Timothy Walden in our legal department. Timothy, what do we have in store for tonight's show?
Hello, Jim. We have some sticky issues tonight. First, are Americans having enough sex? Will a nooner with your boss make you more productive at work or increase your risk of sexual harassment? And finally, what really happened to the guy buried under an avalanche of pornographic magazines? Let's find out now.
Thank you, Timothy. We'll join you at the end of the show. They have a collective IQ of 385 and a half dozen degrees above metric freezing point. No, it's not a car full of crash test dummies. It's our panel. In the far chair, it's actress Kate Manbear. She's so charming she convinced the North Koreans to screw up their own rocket test. Sitting next to me is attorney at law Mel Patterson. If oral arguments were yo-yos, he'd go up and down in a young boy's hands. In between them, he's a self-described regal gentleman, John Helmholtz. If charm was a hookah, hipsters would blow him on a Saturday night. Finally, joining us from an undisclosed location via the interwebs, it's another attorney at law, Alex Clark. If insightful analysis was almond milk, hippies would squeeze his nuts until his juices came out. Issue number one, is there less of a need to do the deed? According to a paper in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, which I also subscribe to, Americans are having less sex than they did a quarter century ago, with married people showing the most dramatic decline of all. Generally, married people have more sex than single people, but the new study now shows that married people are having even less sex than single people. The report did not list the causes of the decline, but cited possible factors including increased access to entertainment and social media, a decline in happiness among people over 30, increased depression, and the use of antidepressants associated with sexual dysfunction. Or it could be this.
Wow.
I know that would decrease my drive. I'd make it painful. But anyways, Kate, Americans having less sex. Buying this or not?
Yeah, and I think it's clearly that everybody's playing on their phone all the time instead of
Is that your excuse?
playing with humans.
Is that your excuse?
Not me.
Oh, right. But everybody else, right?
Everybody else.
Everybody else but you.
Well, because I have an older phone.
Ah, so you don't have a smartphone?
Yeah, once I upgrade, then forget it.
So you have a flip phone? So you're the flip phone slut. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. That's a valid.
Oh,
School, actually.
don't tell.
Don't tell. Okay.
Don't tell.
It's a razor. No, never mind. But so you agree with this? Why do you? And you think the reason is because people are just on their handheld devices more than each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Handheld devices.
Do you think that's going to keep continuing, or do you think maybe something will reverse that?
Well, I don't think it's going to be reversed. No, I think it's going to continue. It's going to get worse and worse until there's a problem because nobody's conceiving children.
Oh, okay. So we're all turning Japanese. Is that it?
Yes.
Speaking of someone who loves the Japanese, Mel, do you agree with Kate?
No. I mean, it depends on how you define sex, first of all.
Oh, okay, Mr. Clinton. How do you define sex? How do you define sex?
Will you swear under oath before you say anything?
I mean, I'm on my cell phone a lot, and I can have sex at the same time. It's
okay. Is that while you're on your cell phone, or are you getting off on your cell phone? I'm missing something here.
Yes.
So so your wife?
Question. Yes.
Would your wife be able to corroborate what you just said?
No.
Okay. Okay.
We have her on Skype right now. No, just kidding.
So basically, Mel, you're saying that every time you text somebody or you're playing Candy Crush, you can have sex at the same time.
No.
No.
I'm saying that my cell phone gets porn.
Oh, you're multifunctional.
I'm a multifunctional.
You're Pokemon Go to.
That's right.
Go to get stuff, right? All right. John, what's your take on this?
My take is that, kind of going along with what Mel's saying, you do see a huge influx of people who now access to pornography.
Well, he defines sex as watching it. So what's your take?
No, I didn't say that. I said I did not say that. I said I could have sex at the same time as watching.
Yeah,
wrestling.
but is your partner okay with that?
I don't need a partner.
Okay, see, okay, all right. See, maybe we're having a
That's why I said there is a definitional issue here. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Besides the fence post.
No, you know, I remember there was this billboard that one porn streaming site put out as like in New York City, and it was like this, and it says like, all you need is hand.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, ooh,
Does that count?
well, no, but I'm saying that I think we went from a generation of people who, if they wanted to experience any kind of, sexual ecstasy, it required another person.
Okay.
And now it's like you get all these, sex robots and other facilitators, whatever Mel's into. No judging you, man. But I think
Mel's the exhibit A.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you for being here, Mel. You provided me a great example.
Having sex with inanimate objects, okay.
Yeah, right. Well, or
attempting
don't count furniture.
As long as that's how you're defining sex. I mean.
I don't think that's how we're defining sex. But okay. All right.
We'll let Timothy define that later.
Alex, I got a minute left. What's your take on this?
I think Mel is just describing masturbation. I mean, isn't that the case? I'm still trying to wrap my head around Mel's comments he's just made in the last couple minutes. Mel, I mean, can you?
I don't go that way, Alex. I mean, don't wrap your head around it. I don't go that way. I'm sorry.
No, but he will have sex with inanimate objects, but he won't go that way. Okay? He has a line that he won't cross there.
There is that line.
Alex, do you think this is all Trump's fault? The fact that we're having less sex, do you think this is all a fault of the new president?
You're not going to pull me into one of your political
anymore.
I don't think any of your viewing audience, all 12 of them, would want to know about your political views.
Oh, thanks for giving me a high number of my viewing audience, there, Alex. But I appreciate that. But okay, so do you agree with this or not? That Americans are having less sex, not that Mel has sex with inanimate objects.
I agree with the rest of the panelists. I think it's increased access to entertainment and social media. I think maybe back in the old days, like say in the 70s, maybe we can ask some of the panelists who lived during the 70s and 60s. You had like 3 channels, right? And a radio and a pocket novel. I mean, of course, sex would be one of the better options in life. So, but now we got all these, virtual robots and new masturbation techniques.
Okay.
I mean,
okay, I'll have to bug you after the show about new masturbation techniques, but I'll just leave one quick exit question for everybody. What would you prefer, sex with your partner or binge watching your favorite show? Alex, binge or sex?
Ooh, I don't know. It depends on the show.
Kate?
Depends on
Sex.
the show.
John?
Sex.
Mel?
Yes.
Binge watching. There you go. All right. Let's go on to issue number 2. Let's see. If you like home cooking, will your business be a booking? A researcher at Oregon State University, go Ducks, has found that maintaining a healthy sex life at home boosts employees' job satisfaction and engagement at the office. The study found that those who prioritize sex at home unknowingly gave themselves a next day advantage at work, where they were more likely to immerse themselves in their tasks and enjoy their work lives. It also found that bringing work-related stress home negatively impacted employees' sex life. Shocker, I know. I believe we have some research footage here. Yeah, those are the KMVT Employees of the Month Club. So they are the most they're the most happy, productive employees here, right, John?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
So, John, I'll start off with you. Sex at home makes you happy at work. Are you buying this or not?
I buy into having sex at work will make you happier at home. No, I'm just kidding. I think stop. No, it's you get increased levels of the dopamine, and you're gonna be a happier person. Your job might suck, if your partner also sucks, you know, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
That's an innuendo.
Okay, so you're buying this, right?
I am, absolutely.
If this is true, could this be the reason our economy hasn't been doing so well?
Because people aren't having enough sex?
Or they're not having good sex?
Maybe that's the thing.
Or just focus on having sex with whatever Mel's having sex with.
Yeah, exactly. It's give and take, you know? Because before you take two people and they're benefiting each other, now when you have Mel, the furniture is still a piece of furniture once Mel's done with it, you know? So, yeah, I think that's why it's good between two people, because they both walk away. Yeah, so.
Okay. I assume you're buying this. Is that right?
Well, I mean, my office and my work are the same place.
Okay,
so.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
A more convenient thing.
Okay, so the question is, if having sex at home and work satisfaction are related, which is the chicken and which is the egg?
Well, I know that work stress does deteriorate from marital bliss.
Okay.
And so the fact is that the opposite is probably true.
The converse?
The converse, yes. Thank you.
Okay, so you don't know which one comes first?
No, I don't.
Kate, do you know which came first, the chicken or the egg?
I think the chicken.
Okay, then home sex or work satisfaction, which is the chicken? Or is that a guess?
It's obviously a guess.
Okay.
I mean,
I assume you buy this concept.
yeah, sure.
So if you wanted to make life better, which would you work on? Having sex at home or being happier at work?
I would, sex at home, because that would be more fun.
Okay, all right.
You know, there's a concrete thing you can do.
You have more control over that?
Yeah.
Because you know the safe word.
I do.
Okay, there you go. All right. Alex,
It was chicken.
Oh, it's chicken? There you go. I like that.
That's
hey,
what my
Alex,
chicken said.
What's your take on this? I got about 30 seconds left. I apologize for leaving you hanging again.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to pick on Mel, but he just said that like his office life and his home life are the same, and he's into this new 21st century version of sex. So don't go into his office with a blue light.
No, I would agree with you. I've
Forensic
never been to
scientists
Mel's
at home.
office or home or wherever he has sex, unless it's in public. Which
Can we have Alex on all the time?
Yeah.
I know, right?
But, okay, Alex, I appreciate that. I'll leave it at that. On to our first break. Hey, we're back from our first break. Issue number 3. If you like it fast and loose, are you more likely to get goosed? Researchers from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, which is totally not a made-up college, have found that a person's preference for casual sex may actually increase their risk of being harassed, even if they are the harassers themselves, like Mel. They found 2 types of harassment. One type occurs between the sexes and usually consists of exploration and solicitation of sex. The other type is between same-sex peers. It's about intrasexual competitiveness, and in this case, the main point is to make oneself more attractive at the experience of the same gender competitors. Like, Mel, you suck. Anyways, speaking of which,
Is that Poopy Show? The almost Poopy Show. I don't want to get attention to go. No, I don't think he will. Just let it happen. He's going nuts. Such a shake.
I can't go to a bar with him anywhere. All the women just go straight to him. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hey, Mel, I'm going to start with you first. Preference since you prefer casual sex. Do you formal sex because you say that putting on a tuxedo just makes you feel weird?
That's right.
Okay, so preference casual sex leads to more harassment. Agree or disagree?
I would have to disagree with that.
Because?
I don't think that casual sex necessarily means forced sex.
Right.
So I mean, I don't find any value in the notion that.
But is forced sex necessarily harassment?
Forced sex is.
Yes, but
casual sex.
But is all harassment forced sex?
No.
Right. So.
No.
Okay.
No.
You see the point there, right?
No.
We have an LSAT logic puzzle here, right? Okay. So harassment is not all harassment is forced sex.
No.
So
it's
you
not
can
true.
still have other forms of harassment.
Yes.
Dumbass. Anyways, sorry. Sorry. How do you not get this? No, sorry. But so you disagree.
Right.
Okay. So because of course you prefer casual sex.
Yes.
And you never harass.
No.
Okay. Even by same-sex peers who denigrate you in order to score with the women you're
There's
chasing after.
same-sex peers who usually are jealous and
Because you're awesome.
That's right.
And you're a nice person. You point out their flaws.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So, do you think this? Okay, then based on that, do you think this rule would apply more to men or more women or both equally, or just don't know?
I haven't actually thought about it. I don't know, but
because you're a deep thinker, right?
yes, I am. I do a lot of things deeply.
Yes, but those inanimate objects we just got in the video. Kate?
I think that maybe was harassment.
Yeah.
I feel
wanna
harassed
say,
right now.
don't you?
Personally, I had to listen.
Well,
to
do
that.
you prefer casual or formal? Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. A girl likes to get dressed up every now and then.
Okay. Do I want to ask as what?
No.
Okay, good.
I mean, you want to, but you won't.
No, I won't. What's your take on this? Do you agree or disagree with the article?
I thought it was actually sort of disturbing that people just how people thought about sex had some correlation between whether they harassed or whether they got harassed.
Well, I think it was whether or not what causes it. And so, is this a potential cause of harassment? Your preference for sex or types of sex?
I don't see how it could be, but maybe.
You didn't read the article, did you?
I did read it, and
you didn't get it.
No.
Okay. Don't worry. It happens a lot in academia. No one
know.
gets what they're saying.
Yeah. Where was this from again?
Somewhere in Norway. So maybe something got
right.
lost in the translation.
Probably.
Okay. Hey, Alex, you still out there?
Yes, I am, Jim.
What is your take on this?
I'm actually surprised that the panelists don't think this is in obvious territory. I think when we talk about harassment and flirting, there's actually a really fine line. I thought this was almost like, yeah, no duh. If you're kind of playing the game, flirting can easily go into harassment. And it just depends on, I guess, how good looking the person is or how good his game is.
How successful
if you have
you are?
no game, and if you don't look so good to the other person, then you're crossing into harassment, probably.
Okay. So
Yes? No?
hate the game, not the player?
Yes, Jim. Hate the game, not the player. Exactly.
Okay. But and you know it's a fine line between harassment and flirting, right?
I think so.
Have you
I
been?
think so. I think this article is pretty. It stated kind of like something that is like no duh.
Okay. Have you been at the line before, Alex?
Sorry, Jim. I didn't catch that.
Have you been at that fine line before?
I think anybody who's played the game has crossed over to, you know what, you're being a creep. You need to step back into the, you need to step away from me, basically. I think everybody who's played the game has ended up in that.
I don't think so.
Mel disagrees with you, but he's had restraining orders, so it's okay.
No, I start out by telling him I'm a creep. This is just full disclosure. So
He's not as nice as you think he is. John, what's your take on this as a young single man nowadays?
I think that people do become. Is that an update for the? Anyways, it's first update for sex.
Don't do it on set.
People get very comfortable between, I think, teasing people and when it comes to being flirtatious. But I think that's what it kind of comes down to, people kind of being, like as Alex said, be like, hey, back off, creep. Like, I think people need to hear that more often, because then you wouldn't have so many harassment cases, I feel like, if which I'm not victim blaming, I'm just saying that, it's sometimes in some of these cases it kind of seems like some people just kind of like, oh, so-and-so's kind of creepy. I was like, well, then, someone's got to tell this.
Okay,
bro.
All right, John. So I'll take that as a ringing endorsement of arranged marriages.
Yeah, well, if it works, it works, Jim. All right.
All right. Let's go on to issue number 4. He ended his rut under a pile of smut. A Japanese man who owns 6 tons of porn died when his collection of filthy magazines fell on top of him. A cleaning crew found his body 6 months later after the landlord entered his apartment to find out why the rent had not been paid. It was unclear if he had suffered a heart attack and fallen into the stacks of magazines which then collapsed on top of him, or if he had been crushed under the mass of paper. I believe we have a reenactment of his death here.
Yep. It's my life.
You know, we're going to have to get a better production company for our reenactments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
A little underfunded. That's okay, though.
That's right. Well, they're not. At least they're not as bad as our correspondence crew. So, anyway, hey, Mel, I'll start with you first, since you're our porn expert. Man found under 6 tons of porn. Cause of death or an interesting side fact of his death?
You know what struck me about this story was that it took the landlord 6 months to come and collect the rent. I mean, what landlord takes 6 months to come and collect the rent?
If your constituents has that much porn, you probably don't want to go knocking. You know?
In Japan.
I mean, you know,
In Mountain View, you're out in like 30 days.
yeah, exactly.
You and your 6 tons of porn.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I think the porn was probably the cause of death.
Okay. You mentioned that that there is ways you wanted to end up, ways you wanted to go. Is being buried under 6 tons of your own porn, is that closer to the way you want to go or closer to the way you don't want to go?
Closer to the way I don't want to go.
So, because you said your ideal way of going was in the arms of a beautiful prostitute, right?
Well,
in Thailand, while the soundtrack of Madame Butterfly.
Well, certainly
which
not.
I never understood.
Not necessarily Thailand, because you know you never can tell what you're gonna.
I thought that was the reason why. That's a feature, not a bug.
Well, you know, I'm not going to want to end up under a ton of
porn. 6 tons of porn.
6 tons of
6 tons
of porn. I don't even know how you get 6 tons of porn into a room without having a concrete base.
Okay,
But
you never know. Maybe it was on the ground floor. Kate, you think you had a girlfriend?
No.
Okay. Think you preferred casual sex?
It depends how you define sex.
Oh,
there we go.
probably
Yeah,
preferred any
right.
sex. Right,
Coming back to that.
Yeah.
Catchphrase.
Alex,
Yes.
role model or precautionary tale for you?
You know what? The one thing that struck me about this story is that somebody with this much porn, how was he not able to have the upper body strength to stay out of that much porn? He should have had some very strong arms
He
and
was pinned
hands.
under his dominant
Or at least
hand.
one of his arms.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. He probably didn't get it all at once.
Carpal tunnel.
Like
hell of a
life,
thing.
you don't get it all at once.
But he was on workman's comp that point.
There you go. John, so what's your take on this? Can you think of a worse or better way to go?
I can think of a lot better ways to go. Probably not suffocating under smut would probably be great. But at the same time, it's almost poetic.
Right.
He's like a pharaoh of old, buried in his pyramid with all of his treasures. Like it's almost like a romantic Shakespearean play.
What would you put on his epitaph? You know what an epitaph is, right? Being the young person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Putting you on the spot here.
Gosh, I wish I had more time to come up with something more clever, like jerk it till you can't work it or something. I
like that.
I don't know.
I like it. And for that, we'll leave it as such. On to our next break. We are back from our second break. We were at the fact-checking stage of this show. This is where we learn where we went wrong during the course of the show. And for that, we rejoin Timothy Walton in our legal department. Timothy, how'd we do on tonight's show?
All right, well, Jim, there has been a great deal of misunderstanding, I think, on the panel about what sex really is. And there is a well-defined sense of what sex is. So, for example, that's how Monica was able to have sex with Bill without Bill having sex with Monica. You follow?
Well, I think everybody but John follows, who probably wasn't alive then.
Well, with John, I just got to point out, I was really hoping we could have one episode without talking about sex robots.
It's a staple, man. It's why I keep coming back.
It's the well. It's the well.
I read a lot of sci-fi.
Yep, it just keeps on giving.
Yep.
Alex, you don't want to wrap your head around Mel's. Oh, never mind. Kate, I think you have to try casual sex before you can know whether it leads to harassment.
Oh, okay.
You're not offering, are you?
We could talk. Mel, are you sure you don't want to be buried under 6 tons of smartphones?
hadn't thought of it, but
Well, no, then he wouldn't beat the bootlegging charge.
Jim, I think we have a special segment to end the show tonight.
Yes, this is the guess who was conceived of this song. So we basically figured out the birthday of each and every panel member and counted back 9 months and found the most popular song on Billboard 9 months before their month of birth. So we'll play the song and then we guess which panelist was most likely conceived to the song that was played. Ready, Timothy?
I'm ready.
If it's anything by Seal, it's me. This is definitely old white people doing this.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
definitely,
me, huh?
it's definitely got to be Kate.
well, it's one of us, I think.
Okay, Timothy, I think we know the song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I believe the song is Elvis. All right, Timothy? Elvis Presley, Don't Be Cruel?
That's who sang it and made it popular, yes.
Okay. So 1950s, is that right? So that would
Correct.
that would probably eliminate John. Eliminates Alex. I was born in the 60s, so it's
Eliminates you.
okay. So it's one of our two other remaining panelists. I'll let John take a guess. Who do you think it is? John guesses Kate. Alex, who do you guess?
I thought it was Mel.
Okay, I'll guess Kate. Kate, do you have a guess?
I'm guessing me.
Mel?
I'm guessing me.
All right. Timothy, the answer.
Well, 3 of you were incorrect.
Oh.
It is Mel, who should have learned to not be cruel.
All right, Timothy, we have a minute left. I like that. I like that game. I hope you appreciated the game, and if you hated it, we'll never do it again. But you got anything more for us, Timothy?
Do you want to hear the flip side to that?
Sure.
Yep.
Oh, he actually has a CD.
Old school.
Wow, I don't hear anything.
No.
Yeah, well, that's because it's playing an ad at the moment, you know. You can blame YouTube
Those
for
are-
that.
Damn it.
Oh, I hate YouTube ads. You gotta have these things spooled up, man.
More Elvis.
And I assume that was also Mel.
Nothing but a hound dog.
That's right, nothing but a hound dog.
It's conceived twice.
Elvis had the #1 single with Hound Dog on one side and Don't Be Cruel on the other.
Wow.
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 Too bad people can't do that anymore. But hey, Timothy, thank you very much. We're at the end of the show. Thank you to the panel. Thank you to the crew. Thanks for watching. Later.
Kind of curious which song